Good afternoon. Well, you might be wondering what I'm doing out here. So this is my front garden. As you can see, there's a lot of concrete. Now initially when I moved into the house there was slate all over this, but it was all loose and coming up, so I lifted it all and I put it over to the back there. The plan is to put it all back down. I have made a start. I've got this bit done, but I keep getting distracted and I keep getting waylaid, so it will get done eventually. But I hated how bare it looked out here, so I put some pots out here, and as you can see, all the ones on this side, they're looking absolutely awful. The plants really are struggling because I keep forgetting to water them. So the plants on this side, they're looking really quite healthy. But there's one big difference. These plants aren't in pots. They are in the ground. Now I would say they're in the soil, but there isn't actually any soil here. So once I drilled through about a foot of concrete on this side, I got to probably about an inch or two of clay before I hit bedrock. So there isn't really any soil. So they are still effectively in pots, but because they're in the ground, they're kept cool, so they don't sort of dry out quite so quick. So these are doing a lot better. So the plan is to plant these on this side. So I've got a kiwi berry there, I've got a rose to go in the middle there, and I've got a cotoneaster to go in up there. Then the other plants I'm just going to plant around the base. So we should tidy it up and get rid of some of the pots out here, and the plants should be happier because they'll be in the soil. Now, if you're putting planters in like this up against the house, you do have to be careful, because you don't want water getting in under your foundations, getting in under your floors. Now I don't have to worry, this is an old stone house, and because of that, the way they're built, the floors are all over the place. So the floor level inside is actually about there. So I don't have to worry as long as water doesn't go up any higher than that. So this hole, to be honest, this hole might actually make things better rather than make things worse. But yeah, I'm trying to get this done before the sun comes around too far, because it really does get hot when the sun's out in here. So yeah. Let's carry on and see if I can get a hole here and get the plants in. Right, well that's the first two pots in, so hopefully they'll do better now their roots are down in the cool. Now I haven't planted them properly yet, because I want to give them a good drink to make sure that all settles down, but I've actually planted them in homemade compost. So there's a couple of problems with the homemade compost. One is the fact that you get a lot of weeds, so once I've let that settle down, I'll have a bit of a gap at the top, and I'll fill that up with some shop brought compost, because that way I know it's sterile. The shop brought stuff doesn't do anywhere near as good for the plants as the homemade stuff. So that's the homemade stuff at the bottom where you want the roots to go down deep, then shop brought stuff like a mulch on top. The other thing you find with the homemade compost is you do get a few visitors to your compost bin. So that wasn't a rock that I took out, that was a rather large toad. So he's doing quite happily there, but I'm going to take him back up and put him in the compost heap because he'll be happier up there. So right, I'll move on to this one next. Right, well it's taken me half an hour, but I've hit something that you can call soil. It's mostly clay, so I will dig it down deeper and add some compost. But these two holes, they've gone a lot better than the ones on the other side, because when I did those, I got down this far and then I hit another layer of concrete. So at least with this I am hitting something half decent. But yeah, it's getting hot now because the sun's moved around. Right, let's get this one done. Right, well that's that one planted as well now. Now it really is starting to warm up because the sun's come around now, so I'm in full sun. So I was going to tidy up, I'm thinking I'm going to leave tidying up, I'm going to try and get this last one in. So this one at the back here is a cotoneaster. Now, interesting thing about this, it was actually growing in the gutter of my greenhouse when I moved into the house. So you can see it really did get up to a reasonable size here. Unfortunately, because I didn't water it last year, I thought I'd killed it, but all this section's come back to life, so I am pleased it is still alive. So I'm hoping if I get this into the ground here, then that'll all bush out and should fill out this wall nicely. Now I've got a couple of weeds turning up here. I'm probably going to leave them just because they're nice. So that's toadflax, that's ragwort I believe. So I like the flowers, I know they're weeds. But yeah, with this one I'm not going to drill it before I chisel it out, because the plan is eventually to dig this entire section out and have it as a big planter up here, possibly even a pond. But yeah, so I'm thinking I just need a hole to get that in there, so I'll just go straight in chiseling the floor. So right, let's get this out of the way. Well, the camera battery went flat, but I did manage to get the cotoneaster planted. So I actually tipped the root ball to the side so that the plant's more upright, which is why the weeds are leading over. Now with the weeds, you'll notice that the flowers have almost finished. That's because it's actually about a week later. So since then, not only have we had hot weather, we've also had some real heavy downpours, which is great because it's really drenched everything and settled everything down nicely. So I spent a little bit of time today just tidying up. I've gone around the tops of these with the shop brought compost, so that should act as a weed suppressant. Now I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with that row of pots there. So they are full of daffodil bulbs, so they do look fantastic in the spring. Obviously, if I don't keep on top of watering, anything I put in there does tend to die. But the plants that are in there are actually wallflowers, so they do tend to look a bit ropey at this time of year anyway. But the reason I'm leaving them is, as you can see, they've actually gone to seed there, and I'm hoping that the seeds will spread across there and I'll get another show of wallflowers next year. But yeah, so it's looking good out here. It's looking a lot better, and obviously I do still need to do the paving. I did make a start getting these bits down. Unfortunately that went so horribly wrong, it put me off for a while, so it'll probably be a while before I pick that up again. But yeah, so hopefully these plants will survive if we get another heat wave. But for now I'm going to end this video here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.